Bet Sports.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Sports. Welcome back to another Wednesday show. Papa Dude, we are back. We do have some sad news that we'll talk about here in just a second to kick it off. But we'd like to have fun here as well, so we'll have a little bit of fun on the show as well. But first of all, how are you doing? You're only got a couple days left of driver's training, and you're done for another year, so you got to be feeling good.
Yep, holding my breath, trying to get to the finish line. You know, we got 5 groups left, and it's over. So,
yeah. Well, I guess you haven't told me, so I guess I'll assume nothing bad's happened since you're...
No.
Okay.
But there's near misses every day, but nothing drastic. Yeah. It's been other than the 2 kids that I think might be doing a little bit of weed. We haven't a whole. This has been a good group overall. It has.
It didn't sound like it a couple weeks ago, but I'm glad.
Well, we got the weed problem straightened out because we dismissed those 2 children. And
okay.
Looking ahead, looking up.
All right. Well, that is good. We'll get to the show here. We'll start. We're going to do 3 things. We're going to talk about D Wayne Lukas, what's going on there, kind of get you updated. I'm sure people know what's going on, but we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about the Thunder a little bit, and then winning the NBA Finals, and all that went with that. And then we're going to talk about some of the best or some of the athletes that we love to watch the most on this show. So we're going to have a little bit of fun. But before we get to the fun, we will have to talk about what's going on. D Wayne Lukas, this came out on Sunday, June 22nd. The legendary Hall of Fame trainer hospitalized and the horses transferred to veteran assistant Bass Nickel. Of course, Bass has been with him forever. And then you just go on to read, it's not looking good for the coach. Basically, he caught an infection that we later found out was MRSA, and that was complicating issues that he's already had. Of course, he's 89 years old. So D Wayne Lukas officially done with training. I don't want to speak too much on his health and what's going to happen, but it doesn't. It sounds like a dire situation, basically. So just the initial thoughts of when I told you the news about D Wayne no longer training.
Yeah, he's the reason I got into horse racing. It's pure and simple.
Yeah.
Never forget, didn't really know what I was doing. He was standing up around the paddock at Oaklawn on a Sunday afternoon. If you're familiar with Oaklawn, the paddock is inside. You're up above the horses, and he was just standing there with all the rest of us. It was a Sunday afternoon. It wasn't a busy day. And it was later in the day. And I told your mother, I said, I'm going to go there and say hi to him. Mm-hmm. So I did. And he looked at me like I was nobody. And he stood there and talked to me for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Finally I said, hey, I don't want to bother you. And he goes, you're not bothering me. If you were bothering me, I would have already told you. Or I would have said, hey, I got to go.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm just sitting here waiting until my horse comes in. He had won in a couple of races down the line. And he goes, I'm just kind of watching these horses and stuff. And, he was just screwing around. That was back in about 2004, 2000. Probably not that long ago. It was the year before Curlin. So what, about 2006?
Yeah, it would have been 6. Year before Curlin was 2006. Yep.
Yeah. And then I had the opportunity to talk to him a couple more times through the years down there. There's very few people that you can say there'll never be another one.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. There'll never be another Lukas.
That's a really, really good way to put it. Yeah. There never will be. It is really, it was just sad. And I was just sitting, downstairs watching TV when that basically Churchill Downs set out the press release. And I was just like, wow, you knew that day would come, but you didn't think it was going to be Sunday, June 22nd. That's for sure.
No, he's one of those guys that you just thought, even though he's had some health issues in the last 3 or 4 years, COVID really hit him hard.
Yeah.
And about got him. And then he's had I think he had a heart attack not too long ago and had really visibly slowed down.
Yeah. Yes.
You could tell it. He was getting kind of feeble.
Yeah.
But my God, the man was 89 or 90 years old and
Yeah.
trained every day, and that's not an easy job if you're 39 years old or 29 years old. It's a tough job. And he was, and for that age, he was doing great. He's one of those guys you just thought would be around forever. And I know each year he leaves Oakland, I always have thought, will I see him again?
Yeah.
I'm like you, I don't want to speculate, but it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of hope.
Yeah, it doesn't at all. In the press release, there was an aggressive like treatment that they kind of talked about. It was like surgeries and a long way to go, and who knows if it would have done anything. And he declined it, and that's usually a sign that the final days are here. Look, I'll just tell you two things about. So, red flags, I would say that I thought when I read it or when I saw it, I thought, that's not good. But you just didn't think it, because you just didn't think this. I don't know why you just didn't think this would ever happen. But when I was reading articles, it's been a week or two ago, and an article came out and it said D Wayne Lukas would not go to Saratoga this year. I thought, man, that's weird, because I had been told by like people who know that he had a bunch of 2-year-olds, or he does have a bunch of 2-year-olds signed up for him this year. And I thought, man, that's weird. He's not going up there. Yeah. But in my mind, I thought, well, maybe he's not liking them. They're not that good or whatever. But I paused that day and I thought, that's weird that he's not going up there. And I want to speak on what you were saying. The last time I was at Oakland, we went down there for the Arkansas Derby. And you could really tell. I mean, this is a guy that was, even when he was 87, let's say, he didn't get around like he was 87, right? Yeah. Like you knew he was old, but you never felt like he was an old man. But when you saw him this year, you thought, man, time is starting to finally catch up to him. Yeah. So
I saw an interview. I think it was right before, I don't know if it was for the Kentucky Derby or the Preakness. Him and Bob Baffert were together. You remember that interview they did?
Incredible interview if you haven't seen it. Yeah.
And I thought he was sharp as a tack then. And I thought, man, he's doing better. He's doing okay. And I'm sure his mind is fine. Yeah. Just a brilliant guy. I mean, he could say some of the funniest stuff and very talented. He liked to write poetry. He was a coach. He could do so many things. And anyone who's ever been around him or ever worked for him, I've never heard anybody say a negative thing, except maybe somebody that was kicking their ass all the time, or somebody that wouldn't work the way he wanted them to work. Yeah. He had no patience for that.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't. He demanded the best. And if you went to his barns, which I was lucky enough to do a few times, you knew that he demanded the best, because his barns just looked different than everybody else's. I think it was Ron Moquette that said, man, you should have been a landscaper, because your landscaping is incredible. If you go to that barn, it is. It really is.
Who puts flowers around their barn when they're only there for like 3 or 4 months, But he liked that. And one of my favorite quotes, he says, when I hire somebody, I tell them, okay, you work 12 hours a day. You do whatever you want to with the other 12 hours. That's one of my favorite quotes.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have time to do anything else. You got to sleep in there somewhere. So he goes, you work 12 hours a day. And he goes, what you do with the other 12, I don't really care. Yeah. I thought that was just hilarious whenever some of the things he would say.
He always, I got to be around him a few different times. I'll just share a couple stories where he really just made me laugh awfully hard. We got to know his grandson, Brady Lukas. I mean, we still know him, but Brady's off doing really big things with the Air Force, and you kind of lose track of him a bit. But anyway, Brady was going to the track a lot during the kind of the mid 2010s, let's say. And he let us go down into the paddock when I believe it was Sporting Chance was running in the Arkansas Derby. And Jared and I had shorts on. And I said, I don't know that we really should go out there, Brady. And it was Brady and D Wayne, and I think his wife had been there, and somebody else there we're going out to the infield where the paddock, where they saddle them for the stakes races at Oakland. And so Brady was like, I'll ask him, and So he was standing there and he goes, "Hey, these guys are big fans." And he's like, "Yeah, they're at the barn, blah, blah, blah." He remembered us sort of, probably because we were hanging out with Brady. And he said, "Yeah, but they got shorts." He looked at us. He goes, "I mean, we're in Arkansas. I don't really think it's going to matter if you got shorts out there." So I was like, "Okay, if you're fine with it, I'm fine with it." He goes, "I couldn't care less. Come on out." So I thought that was really cool of him that day to do that. He didn't really know us, but he would always be very friendly to us when we were around. I mean, that was one of the funnier ones and a nice thing he did. We really got to know him a little bit when he had Will Take Charge. We were always kind of around, because Brady knew we loved that horse, so he kind of take us around. And he would always kind of, "Hey guys, he's going to work at, X time if you want to come out and watch him work tomorrow or whatever." And so, he was really cool about stuff like that with us. And I'll never forget the other time he made me laugh. He was running a horse named Sky Ring, and Sky Ring was a turf horse. Okay. But he was at Oaklawn and he ran him on the dirt. That's the day he broke his maiden down there. It was one of the last races of the day. And Sky Ring won by the slimmest of slim margins.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was kind of back in where the paddock is watching the replays. And I did a similar thing that you did to him that day. So let's just go stand over there and watch it with him and then ask him about it after.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So we went over there. He looked at us after the race. He said, "He had them all the way, didn't he, boys?" We just laughed. And he goes, "Imagine if I was smart enough to run this horse on the surface he's supposed to run on instead of here at Oaklawn." And then he did go on to win. I believe he won the dinner party at Pimlico one year. So, which is a turf race. So anyway, he would always, if you were around him, he's always saying something funny.
Oh, always. He always was. And, in his latter years, he didn't have the greatest horses, obviously.
No.
And I've always said this about him. I've never seen a guy that can take a shitty horse and make it a millionaire.
Yeah.
Any better than he could. Yeah. How many horses did he have that won maybe twice, maybe 3 times?
Yeah.
And they ended up millionaires.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them because he would place them in certain races with big purses. They'd manage to get second or third, win a couple $100,000, and they'd end up being $1 million horses.
Yeah.
He did that all the time.
I know.
And I'll never forget one time, it was a Sunday afternoon. I don't know what I was doing, but it was at Oaklawn. He had a horse win a $30,000 claimer, maiden claimer.
Yeah.
I think I texted you and I said he will be in the Rebel or the Southwest or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's won the $30,000 maiden claimer, and sure enough, he put it in. I think it was the Southwest, but anyway,
yeah,
he always thought his horse was better than what it really was, and he always thought he was going to win. Or he said he did.
I talked to Kelly about that one day. We were laughing, and I was laughing, I should say. And so God, he always throws those horses in those races, and they just don't fit. He goes, "You have to understand something about this guy. He is the most optimistic thinking guy I've ever met. Period." Yeah. He goes, he believes it. Like, he's not just doing it. Like, he believes they're going to win those races when he enters. Like, he said, that's why he does it. He's not insane. He really believes it. So, wow.
Well, what was the name of the horse in the Derby this year?
Oh, American Promise. Yeah.
Yeah. He was, I'll tell you, in that interview, he said, this horse is running well. Yeah. If he can just get the right trip, that's the key. If he can just get him, we can just get him where we need to.
Yeah.
Nick Juarez was right. If Nick can just get him where we need him to be, I tell you, this guy could surprise some people. And I won't be surprised if he gets up there and he's knocking on the door when he finished like 15.
Yeah.
By about 50.
Yeah, but still, that was him. Yeah, but sometimes they would be Seize the Gray and they would win,
Yeah,
and that's why I always told people, like, man, he's crazy. It's like, yeah, but sometimes the guy wins these races and you go, wow, Take Charge Brandy, like 60-1. So yeah, it was crazy.
Another thing before I forget it, the last trainer's title he won down at Oaklawn was probably 10 years ago, maybe longer than that. I was down there the week before the end of the meet, and he was standing there, and I said, big week for you winning that trainer's title. And he looked at me and he goes, huh? I said, I said,
I was with you. I remember this.
the big week for the trainer title. He goes, yeah, I don't really give a shit about that. He goes, I'll tell you. But you see, he was lying because he goes, the guy's ahead of me. He's got about 14, 15 horses entered this week, and I got 4 or 5, and they're all in stakes races. He goes, I don't know if I can win that thing or not. So he knew exactly.
He knew.
And that trainer title meant something to him because of that next statement was, yeah, he's got about 15 or 16 entered for the week. And I only got 4 or 5, and they're all in tough stakes races. I don't know if I can win or not. But he ended up doing it. And I guess that was the year that Asmussen didn't have anything.
Asmussen had a weak year. It was Alan Milligan who he was trying to beat out. Yeah,
who at that time had like 100 horses.
Well, and D Wayne, when Keeneland opened, he took a bunch of them and ran them there. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like try to win the trainer's title. But
I guess the trainer title didn't bring in any money. I guess.
Yeah. But that was definitely the last trainer's title he won for sure. Was that one? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I was going to get in next, and Curtis Manlow beat me to it. D Wayne off the plane. People don't realize he revolutionized horse training. He really did. He was the first big guy to have multiple outlets or barns, I should say, at different tracks at the same time.
Yes,
that was pretty much unheard of. And he was able to do it, one, because he thought of it like a business. He was a businessman that trained horses, and also he had some of the best assistants of all time. Talking about Todd Pletcher.
Todd Pletcher's not a bad assistant.
No, Todd Pletcher, Kieran McLaughlin, two of the best. Dallas Stewart's been with him. Yep.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, he did. He changed the whole sport.
He did.
And a lot of people don't realize he is in the Quarter Horse Hall of Fame as well.
That's right.
That's where he got started.
Yep.
It was quarter horses. And I've read, he decided, or I think it was his son said, Dad, we need to get into the thoroughbreds.
And Jeff Lukas probably would have been the next D Wayne Lukas if not for an injury. Just a tragic injury is not even a thing, a life-altering situation. He got ran over by a horse named Tabasco Cat, who ended up winning a couple of Triple Crown races, but obviously handicapped Jeff, and he just couldn't train anymore after that. But a lot of people thought Jeff Lukas was going to be the next great, trainer.
Well, he was a perfect partner for his dad because he was forward thinking as well.
Yep.
And he's the one that encouraged his dad to get into thoroughbreds.
Yep.
Because they were kicking ass in the quarter horses, and then they went to the thoroughbreds, and he's just good. There's not very many that do quarter horse and thoroughbred, I don't think.
Not him and Bob Baffert are the only two that I know of. And they've done very well.
Yeah. If he doesn't recover, you don't want to be morbid, but it doesn't sound good.
No.
There'll never be another one. He's just, it's going to be, even today, he's still a part. He's always got a chance to win a race. He always does.
Absolutely. Yep.
And he's still a major figure in things. And it's amazing. It really is.
And I can't remember the number of 2-year-olds that I was told that he got, but it was a ton. I don't know if Bass Nickel's going to be able to keep them all or what's going on or what'll happen there. Obviously he gets all the horses transferred to him now, but what does that look like 6 months from now? Who knows? But why I'm saying this is people still believed in him. People were still giving him, these big time horses. And so it's incredible. I want to read off his accomplishments here because this is insane. I want to make sure to read this for people that maybe they've only known him like the last 8 years of his career, right? Okay. 4-time Kentucky Derby winner, 7-time Preakness winner, and 4-time Belmont winner. He won a record 6 consecutive Triple Crown races in a row, starting with the 1994 Preakness all the way through the 1996 Kentucky Derby. He also made it 7 out of 8 when Editor's Note won the 1996 Belmont. So the only thing missing there was the Preakness there in 96. I mean, that's incredible. That is incredible just on itself right there.
I don't think that'll ever be broken.
I don't either. 5-time Kentucky Oaks winning trainer. I do want to insert a couple things here. Secret Oath. I was there to watch that one live in 2022 when he won it there. And he had that horse looking as good as she's ever looked. We saw her 4 weeks later, the Arkansas Derby. Thought, oh, she doesn't look that great. Showed up in Kentucky. She looked fantastic that day. I'll never forget that. He's trained 3 Horse of the Years, and he's trained 26 other horses that became Eclipse Award champions. He has, won the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's won 5 Breeders' Cup Juveniles. He's won 6 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Of course, the last one, probably the most famous, Take Charge Brandy at 60-1. He's won the Breeders' Cup Distaff 4 times. He's won the Breeders' Cup Sprint twice. And he's won the Breeders' Cup Mile and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Sprint. He did that in 2012 with a maiden named Hightail. So those are the big classic races. That's how many he's won. He has 20 Breeders' Cup wins in all. That is tied with Aidan O'Brien. Obviously, that's going to be passed at some point. But that is an incredible resume.
Oh, it is.
And that just is the beginning, right? I mean, there's so much more to talk about. All these other, quote unquote, smaller races that he's won that are still Grade 1 events.
Yeah. Yeah. It pretty much, I'm sure there's been some controversy over the years, but
there has. Yeah.
Not since we've been following him.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't remember anything controversial that he's done since we've been following him. But I know the first time I ever went to the track, I knew nothing, absolutely diddly squat, but I knew who D Wayne Lukas was. That's how famous he was.
Yeah, I
didn't follow horse racing at all. I just went for fun.
Yeah.
But I'd heard of D Wayne Lukas because of all the stuff you just mentioned.
I was going to kind of round out with that, not round out, but just go into that for a second, because you told me back in 2007 when I went for the first time and you took me. He said, yeah, there's a lot of guys. You won't really know who these guys are, these trainers. But I said, you said D Wayne Lukas trains here. I was like, damn, really? Like, because I knew who that was. Like, that was in the 90s for sure. He was horse racing, like on the grand, like the public, scale.
Oh,
so yeah, I knew that face. And immediately when I saw him, that was the only, and no disrespect to anybody else, I didn't know who they were, but when you saw him, it's like, damn, that's a celebrity, kind of,
Well, he stood out.
Well, that's true as well. Yeah.
Now, don't forget, too, he used to dress impeccably for the big races.
Oh, yeah.
That stopped in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Somebody once said, I don't remember who it was, they could always tell if he had a chance to win because he would have a suit on if he thought he was going to get in a winner's circle. Yeah. And I don't remember the last time I saw him in a suit. So that kind of slowed down, too. But
yeah, it did. But yes, he used to. Yeah, he always used to be all dressed up for sure. I remember first time I ever went to Saratoga, he won a race when Dublin broke his maiden in 2009. I was there, and I remember standing there watching him come to the winner's circle. I was like, damn, he's just looked like he was going to a wedding almost. He was dressed up so well. So he always kind of did stand out amongst even though now all these guys dress up, but he was, I don't know, he was just a little more fancier. It felt like
he was. Yeah. Curtis said he was really Baffert before Baffert. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think he was. And again, we don't know what it was. I mean, he may have been, because he was winning all the time, people might not have liked him.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't follow it then. So I don't know what it was like when he was dominating like Baffert does. I'm sure people were jealous of him.
Yeah, I don't think he was all that well liked. I think he became well liked when he got older, and he was kind of he wasn't as, threatening to all the other trainers as far as having the great stables and such like that. So
I would say they probably were a little bit afraid of him.
Yeah, I would
approach him.
Yeah.
And then as he's gotten older, he's been much more mellow, as we tend to be. And I think his true colors have come out, and a lot of younger guys aren't afraid to approach him anymore.
Right. Well, I think what people realized is that I mean, he's a teacher first and foremost, really.
Yeah.
Like he really is. And we kind of mentioned, I'll read it off: Todd Pletcher, Kieran McLaughlin, Mike Maker, Dallas Stewart. Those are the big ones. Mark Henning, George Weaver, other ones that came up under him. And yeah, I mean, he was very tough on them, like they said, but all of them would say, but they also learned a hell of a lot from him as well. So yeah, pretty awesome. And now his final one, Bass Nickel, and I've known him for forever. Super nice guy. I really hope he succeeds because I think he does an excellent job as well. And I mean, and let's be real, a lot of the labor intensive things with training he's been doing for a while now.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I think anybody would tell you that, but
yeah.
Now he's the guy. So
I know. And will the people with deep pockets who are supplying the horses, did they do it because of D Wayne, or will they do it with Bass as well?
Yeah. Well,
and sometimes that Bass is going to have to win some races on his own to prove himself. So that's just the way it is.
I think he can do it. I think he's more than capable.
No doubt about it.
It's racing, and you just never know when it comes to that. So
no, you don't. And it's like coaching. You got to have studs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get it's like D Wayne has said in latter years, he used to have number one draft choices. Now he's got free agents.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I said, he was talking about his 10% win percentage and how it went down. It used to be 20 and now it's 10. He goes, but I got 2% horses now. He said, I'm doing better than ever.
So he said, I'm trying to compete with the big boys who have number one draft choices, and I got free agents. It's kind of hard to do.
Yeah. He did have some good ones though. Oxbow being one, and Will Take Charge, Seize the Gray. I mean, those were Take Charge Brandy. Those were big time horses. He was able
if he didn't place them in every $1 million race there is, they'd have won a lot more races too.
Oh man,
he was something else.
He's got I believe it's 5 more entries left. He's got, I think it's 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. And that's it. And that was kind of the, like, I did a preview. Here's one too. Bravazzo was one that just ran his ass off every time.
He's the one we talked about. This $1.5 million dollar horse that won like 2 races.
Yeah. Oh, you look up and you're like, is he even really that good? I'm not sure. He just runs so hard and he tries every time, and he's in these big races that it works out,
Something else.
Oh man. It's been quite the run for sure. And like I said, I did a preview for the Stephen Foster, and you read the name Lukas, and of course he's got a 50-1 shot in the race, but you're just like, damn, I'm never going to see that again after Sunday. And that's weird to think about.
It is when he's your favorite guy, like he was mine, and you've got to know some others along the way better than I have. I mean, I love Asmussen too.
Oh yeah, me too.
But D Wayne it's not going to be the same. It's just not for me. I mean, it's just not. And it's when you look up and there's no Lukas horse running. And I just wonder how many tracks around the country are going to have a race named after him.
Yeah, there's going to have to be a lot.
They've got to add one for next year.
Yeah.
And
you watch he really helped Oaklawn, I feel like, and he was always there to tell people how great Oaklawn was, and
never said a bad word about it.
Yeah, there's got Oaklawn, Churchill, and Saratoga. Really, all 3 should have one.
Yeah. You guys ought to come down here. You don't know how good it is down here,
Yep. And he was definitely like the what's the right word? He was the figurehead of that whole thing. You know what I mean? Like that was still like the attraction at Oaklawn. It's like, wow, Lukas is still here, So
definitely.
Yeah, that's right. Churchill already did it. They're ahead. The Lukas Classic. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dennis, I'd go buy some of those programs.
That's Manlow said he's going to buy a DRF on Sunday to have the last program. No, I think that makes sense. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Well, we will keep you updated on what's going on. I mean, clearly, I have no inside knowledge of what's happening or anything like that, but we'll when we hear any news, we'll report it. That's how I'll leave it. But
when not just one final thing, when they decline treatment, it's not a good sign.
No, it's not. I think everybody, we're not breaking news. Everybody knows that. So yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah, the best
in any sport, anywhere.
Yep.
He's one of the legends of anything. He's at the top 20. You combine all the legends together of all the sports. He's got to be in at least the top 25. Has to be.
Yeah. Has to be for sure. Like I said, anytime you can truly say this person revolutionized the sport, then that goes a long ways right off the bat, right? So
it does. Yep.
All right. Well, there's no easy way to transition from that.
No, there's not.
It's just a sad deal, and wish you the best for him.
We knew it was going to. It would have to happen, but we just didn't. We wanted to postpone it as long as we could.
Yeah, and you know what? I even remember back. I can't remember what year it was when Oxbow won. I remember thinking to myself, that might be it. You know what I mean? And that was a long time ago. That was like 12 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And then when Secret Oath won the Kentucky Oaks that day, we went in and watched the press conference, and I said, take a good look. This is it. There's no way this guy can win another one. You know what I mean? And then he won with Cease the Gray. So it's like, I don't know. You just, every time you said, this is it, there, it wasn't, and you just kind of, he defied logic so many times that you just thought, well, maybe it'll happen again. So, yeah. Anyway.
And each year, up at Saratoga, we would always look at his 2-year-olds and see if there was something coming along, because we knew it was coming to Oaklawn.
Yep.
And it's going to be tough.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be.
They'll do it right down at Oaklawn, though. They'll honor him. There'll be a statue. There'll be all kinds of stuff down there.
The first person, not the first person, I shouldn't say that, but one of the first people I thought of was Nancy Holthus down at Oaklawn.
Oh, yeah.
Because they grew so close over the years, and she had him on Oaklawn, Dawn at Oaklawn. I can't imagine how upset she is over it. Yeah, but anyway, we'll keep you updated. Prayers for everybody, and hoping for the best one way or another. And
what a life! What a life!
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. Jeff comes in and said Secret Oath was the year I fully got invested in the game. That's very cool. She was a literal ton of fun to watch. Yeah. Secret Oath was for sure. She got really good that 3-year-old season, and that Kentucky Oaks was super impressive that year.
Yeah.
She won it. That was awesome. And I remember being there for the Arkansas Derby and being I just thought she was going to win that thing, and being so disappointed, and then fast forward and she wins the Oaks, and that disappointment all went away that day. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to something happy now. We'll talk about the Thunder and their win. They got it done. There were some sketchy moments in the game. Of course, Halliburton getting hurt probably made the difference in the game. But in the end, the Thunder get it done. What were your thoughts?
Well, it was a great series. And I've said on here a couple of times, Indiana's a lot better than they're getting credit for. And they might have won that thing if he hadn't got hurt.
I think they would have. Before you go on, I think they would have. Here's why. I think they would have been up like 10, 15 points at the half.
Yeah.
The Thunder were just awful in the first half. They were terrible. And the way Indiana was playing, I think they would have been up double digits. Now, the Thunder, I thought, played a very good second half. But
yeah, they did.
I'm not sure. They would have won it.
Well, when the game was, still 6 point game, that's when you need Halliburton.
Oh,
he's your guy.
Well, that's why, like in the fourth quarter, I was texting, John and texting a lot of people and said, it's over because Indiana doesn't have the guy to go to.
Got to have him down the stretch, especially in the game 7.
Well, take Shea off the Thunder and see what would have happened. That's kind of what it was like.
It really was. Shea's probably means a little more. Well, I
Yes.
don't know if he means a little more or not, but he does a few more things than Halliburton does. But
Yeah.
this Indiana team is a team to watch.
Yeah.
They played great. Game 6 was the worst performance in a closeout game I've ever seen a team. I don't know how you show up like that.
I don't either.
I just don't know. And it was just, who are these guys? They didn't even, I don't know. But, you know, they've got a chance. Or that's a good point. Curtis says, unfortunately, lost the game and next season because he'll be out a while.
I'll be honest. If it wasn't Oklahoma City,
yeah,
I would have been rooting for the Pacers. I really love to watch them as the playoffs went.
No, if they were playing the Nuggets or
anybody,
I like Golden State, so I probably would have been rooting for Golden State. But that's the only team in the West I think I would have been.
Maybe, yeah,
kind of like the Lakers, but
no way I would root for the Lakers. No way.
No, I probably wouldn't either. But yeah, I mean,
I really got to like them a lot.
You know,
even when they're playing Oklahoma City, I was like, damn, this is a very admirable team.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Played together.
Yeah. Tough.
Just tough.
Yep.
Tough.
Yeah.
And the Thunder now have a chance at a dynasty. It is set for them.
Mm-hmm.
They got to sign the big 3 and don't let them get away.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many draft picks piled up that they can do a lot of stuff. There is no question the general manager of the Thunder, Sam Presti, is fantastic. He completely rebuilt this. You know, they cleared everybody out, started acquiring draft picks. The franchise was patient. The fan base was patient. We went through some real problems, a couple of terrible years, but it paid off.
Mm-hmm.
And getting Shea for what they gave for him, you know, it's just, he was nothing till we got him, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a good player.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, well, it's tainted. Thunder fans, it's not tainted. You won the national championship. You can't help who you play.
Yeah. No.
And you can't help what happens.
You don't need to worry about that.
No.
Thunder fans are too worried about two things. An asterisk by it. It's like, no, it's a championship. And people saying that there wasn't enough people at the parade. Just calm down. Like, those are things you need to ignore.
First of all, a Tuesday afternoon parade's kind of tough.
It's Tuesday afternoon. It's 100 degrees. They got 600,000 people there. There's only like 4 million people that live in the whole state. So
that's right.
There's not that many people that live in Oklahoma.
Somebody's griping about how many people were there.
I've heard that. Yes, not Oklahoma people, but the outside people.
600,000 people were there.
That's what the Oklahoma City media reported. I have no idea if that's true.
I don't see how you could get 600,000 people down in that little old area.
I don't either. People have never been to Oklahoma City. It is small. Like the population, I think, is like 600 some thousand. But the actual, like where the city is, it's really, there's not a whole lot there.
No, and if you had that many people, they had to park 3 miles away. I mean, there's no place to park.
I know.
I mean, when you have a Thunder game with 20,000 people in there, it's a mess.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's really weird if they did that. But no, I think the future's bright for the Pacers.
Absolutely.
I don't know. You know, when you tear an Achilles, you don't know how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
Especially here we are in June, end of June, and the season starts in a couple of months, 3 or 4 months in October.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll be honest, like now, you know, I like the Thunder, but the NBA is like my least watched sport. Like I don't really like, if the Thunder would have lost that game, I wouldn't have been upset to the point where I can't sleep or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know how I am.
Yeah.
If I'm zeroed in, I don't want to watch it with anyone except maybe you. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want anybody else. So there was a group where I live and there was a TV out around the pool and I watched it with them.
Yeah.
That shows you I didn't really care.
Right. And
I
so
cared, but not that much.
like when I was watching it, and same here. Like
Yeah.
I kind of had one eye on it and doing other
Yeah.
things for a little bit. And when Halliburton got hurt, though, it did. And this is how I know I really not a huge fan. I
Yeah.
thought, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
I hate that. Where if it's OU Texas and the quarterback for Texas tears his Achilles, I'm like, thank God. I hated that guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, Dennis, you can watch. Dennis says you're going to watch a game. You can watch a game with me as long as it's not involving OU.
Right.
I have to be zeroed in, or if the Blues are playing in a big time playoff game, I don't want to be. I don't need anyone else's opinion. I think that's what it is.
I think that's what it is with me too. I don't really need to hear.
I don't hear what your shit. I don't care about your shit.
Yeah.
I was sitting around these guys and they were tossing shit all over the place the other night, and I was just sitting there going, I don't give a shit what you think. You're full of shit, but it doesn't matter to me.
I think we've all felt that before.
I have your fun. It doesn't.
Yeah, but listen, I like I said, I'm not a serious Thunder fan, but I'm also I was there when they're the Oklahoma City Hornets. I went to a couple games.
Oh yeah.
So I am a fan, but it's just the NBA doesn't get me going. But it was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun, and I'm glad they won because it would have been tough to have lost.
Oh.
Even though when you get to thinking, yes, they lost, and it would have been disappointing. But God, how disappointing can you be when you got to the 7th game of the NBA Finals with a young team like that? But still, it would have felt like the world was coming to an end, especially after Halliburton got hurt.
Yes, if you lose from there, it's gonna be really shitty. Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it was great. And I didn't know much about the players. I don't watch post game shows. They're pretty good, level-headed bunch of guys.
I did get a kick out of this. Okay. You can tell they're not like partiers or anything.
No,
they didn't really know what to do. They really, when you watch Florida and how they celebrate, like I'm talking about the Panthers, and then a few days later you're watching OKC. And I was sitting there like, these kids have no idea what to do. They don't have a clue how to act, Like it felt like, I don't know what it felt like, but it was just like they don't know how to celebrate. It was crazy to watch them, but they don't really know how. I mean, they're so young. A lot of these kids, and I call them kids because they're way younger than me. It's like Williams, he had never had a drink of alcohol before. Until this, it's like, this is wild, and they just want it. And that's why I was being kind of hard on them in the postseason. But then you stop and think they don't know what they're doing, and they're winning, So.
And Shea is so low key.
Oh, yeah.
They ask him, you don't get any teas. And he goes, I used to be a hothead. I was terrible. But he goes, I've grown up. And he goes, you give away points when you get a tease. He said, I try to just not get them, So.
I've heard that. I haven't seen it, but Rob says, and I heard a couple people tell me this too. There's a side-by-side video showing OKC and the Panthers celebrating, and it's like, OKC.
Well, we're talking about a lot of adults with the Panthers.
Yeah, but OKC, it kind of felt like I was watching like a high school team that just won a state championship or something. Like they all got in a huddle and they were jumping up and down. I was like, this is weird. And like I said, it may not have been as bad if you hadn't seen A, what the Panthers were doing on the ice, and then B, the 3 or 4 days after all the crazy shit those guys were doing. And it's like Oklahoma City won, and they're just like in a huddle jumping up and down. It was wild.
Anyway. Where they play, maybe that rubs off on them. I don't know.
We were
actually a party city.
No. But Jared was talking. He's like, we had a big three before, right? And when we lost them all.
Yeah.
And now we got a new big three. Is that going to happen again? I said, my answer was, look, it's the NBA, and
it could.
Yes, it could happen. But I said, I don't know how they'll be in 3 years, but right now these guys feel in a whole different world compared to the old big three of Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. Like
kind
these guys,
personalities there.
Whoa. Like, as it turns out, it's like those three guys are the old three. They've all got their issues, right?
Oh yeah,
These three, they just are babies, it feels like. So I don't know the answer.
they act like they're perfectly content to be there forever.
Yeah. Now again, they're young, and I don't know if that'll last,
Well,
but
and money and agents and all that's going to get in the way. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens. They got to
Yeah.
sign them right now. Get them signed up right now.
20-year contracts.
Whatever you want. Give them the Mahomes contract. Whatever you want. Just get it done, and then worry about surrounding them with role players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're a fun team. Like I said, I think they'll just grow and be better for this. And they're going to have to be. I mean, they every year will be harder than the last.
Oh
so,
yeah,
yeah. But good that they won it. Like you said, if they didn't win it,
yeah,
you start to get that thought of we're never winning one.
Yeah.
So it was good. Parade was cool. My favorite photo of the parade is when they went by the building that was blown up, the Oklahoma City building. So they went to that Oklahoma Memorial. That's kind of where the parade. That was pretty cool to see that.
Yeah.
That is definitely the staple, unfortunately, of Oklahoma City is that.
Is.
So,
Yeah.
All right,
That's when that whole city turned around after that tragedy.
You're right.
They were really struggling, and that united them, and they have moved forward since. So,
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about before?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, you had the idea. Let's talk about some of our favorite players
Right.
to watch. Doesn't have to be any. It's just an open-ended.
And you guys think of some too.
Yeah, you guys put them in the comment section like we usually do.
Because my list will be weird.
Well, let's hear some of them.
I'll just say it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so old, and I'm going to have some old guys on there.
No, that's fine.
I tried to make two different lists.
Okay.
And here's my modern day list. Now, some of these guys are on here that are a little bit older.
Okay.
Okay. I've got 10.
Okay.
And these, like I say, and we were talking about the big three of before. My number 10 is Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
I love to watch him. Not recently, but when he was with the Thunder, when he was, I think, in his real prime, and then also at Golden State and the Olympics.
Yeah.
Where he has won the gold medal for the United Curry did last time, but Durant's done it before too.
Yeah.
I love to watch him when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. He's my number 10.
Mm-hmm.
When the Thunder were going through it the first time, I had to watch him play. He was just fun to watch. Would he make your list?
Yes. I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. My number 9 would be way up at the top if I was a Chiefs fan.
Okay.
But I'm not. But Patrick Mahomes is number 9.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I'm not a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, I like to watch.
If I was a Chiefs fan, he's number 1. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
On my modern day people.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's dynamic. I think we're watching one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Now the next 3 or 4 years are going to tell it. Is he going to continue to be as good as he has been? If he has another 3 or 4 years like he's put together so far, who's going to be better than him ever?
Right. Yep. Right.
And speaking of that, the only guy I think we can compare it to him is my number 8, which won't be very popular because a lot of people don't like this guy, and that's Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like the Patriots, and a lot of people don't. And I understand why. And so I would have Brady as my number 8.
Right.
In my modern day. This one's a little bit of an older guy, but I used to be a huge Denver Broncos fan when number 7, John Elway, played Broncos.
Yep.
I absolutely loved watching him play.
Yep.
He was kind of like Mahomes. He would do a lot of things. He could run the ball. He could kill. He was a great passer. Made a lot of big plays. Fun to watch. I really liked him. My number 6. No one will agree with this, but I'm an OU fan. Baker Mayfield.
Oh, I think for college football, he has to be.
If you're an OU fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've had some studs. We've had
Yep.
great players down there over the years. But he's the most fun I ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had so many great players. Number 5, I love to watch Steph Curry play. Even now.
Yeah. See, I'm not probably not. I just don't like NBA basketball enough.
Well,
Just
I
like,
know.
you know,
I love to watch him play.
Yeah.
I just think for his size, he's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I just love him. This one's old. Wayne Gretzky is my number 4.
Yeah.
You don't remember him in his prime too much, probably. Number 3 is way old for all of you in the chat, but I'd give anything to go back to the days of Bob Gibson pitching.
Yeah.
Bob Gibson got the ball and threw it.
Yeah.
Got the ball and threw it. Got the ball and threw it. The hitter, if you didn't get in the box, he hit you right in the head with it.
Yep.
He just got it back, got the sign, threw the ball.
Yep.
Games for 2 hours. 2 hours and 13 minutes when Gibson pitched. That was a long game.
Yep.
He wouldn't let you take him out. Pitched, they go in extra innings. He pitched 13 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was back when baseball was better for sure.
It was fast.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is Michael Jordan. There's no question. And my number 1, because he revolutionized the sport and made the sport popular, is Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tiger Woods is my number 1. I don't watch golf at all.
Yep.
Anymore. And I watched it anytime Tiger was playing, I watched golf. And he just was so different.
He has to be up there. He has to be. Yeah.
It was must-see TV.
Mm-hmm.
When Tiger was playing in the Masters or the U.S. Open,
yep.
Any major,
yep.
You watched it.
Yep.
He was just so exciting. I never saw a golfer as poor off the tee as he was. How many shots did he hit in the weeds, in the woods, off the tee?
Yeah. Or late when he got into later phase of his career. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Later on in his career, like after that huge run he had, then it was like magic. Yeah.
He was spraying them all over the place. He was.
Yeah.
And he'd get into these impossible situations and make some kind of an ungodly shot.
Yep.
And then when he, before he got hurt and all the other stuff happened, every putt he needed to make, he made it.
Yep.
It was an incredible run.
It's crazy because I feel like, that was just ripped from us and we weren't ready or had any idea it was going to happen. It's just one day it's like, oh, all this shit happened. And then it's like, now he's hurt all the time. It's like, wow, we're never going to get to watch him hardly again, So
that hurt because I had him up on a pedestal.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did. Yeah.
Because he looked like the perfect family man.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they painted him. That's how they wanted him.
That's how they painted him.
Yeah.
He could do no wrong. And then when that happened, it just shattered so many things. I think we got cynical about a lot of athletes. And a lot of them are that way, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But that really was, it really hurt whenever that came down.
I'll read off a couple here. Vladimir Guerrero is a fun one for sure.
Okay.
When Pedro was on the mound, that was always fun.
Yes.
I agree with that. Corey Haim, who I don't know, but Dennis loves him. I think he's a race car driver. Ovi, I would agree with that one. Lamar Jackson, of course, Dennis, a Louisville guy. So, yeah, I would agree there. Shohei Ohtani, I'm going to talk about him. Drew Brees. Yep. Drew Brees, if you're a Saints fan or even if you're just like football, he was fun to watch.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Breeze for Rob and Johnny Manziel for that 1 year in college. He was electric. There's no doubt about it.
Now there's another one.
The problem with Johnny is it was just once, but it was amazing when it was
a magical season. How many people are called Johnny Football?
I know.
Johnny Heisman or whatever they were calling him that year.
I know.
But it's a tragic thing with him. he just couldn't control his personal life.
Yep.
He just couldn't. He had too many demons, I guess.
He did, and it's sad, but yeah.
So,
all right. I was going to talk. I was going to go sport, like just kind of. I don't really have them ranked.
Good.
I'm just going to go sport by sport. I think in a hockey first. I think Connor McDavid, honestly, is the player that I like to watch the most right now, because he can do things that nobody else can do. It's pretty incredible what he can do. I loved Ryan O'Reilly when he was with the Blues. I thought
you did. You loved him.
That's the type of hockey player I just love.
Yep, you do.
They could do everything, and always came up in the big moments with the big goals. And of course, if you win the Conn Smythe, that's obviously shows that. So O'Reilly, Jordan Binnington, when he went through that run, and when Binnington's on his game, he's more fun than any other goalie in the league to watch. The problem is you don't get it every night, but when you get it, it's really fun. You can't beat him. Good. So he definitely would be on the list as well. Matthew Tkachuk is one of my favorite players in the league to watch right now. Just the instigator. He's around all the time, whether it's causing fights, whether it's scoring big goals or getting under the skin of the other team. So those are the hockey players for me. You go back, I didn't get to see Gretzky at his all-time prime. I didn't get to see Brett Hull at his all-time prime, really. But I always enjoyed watching those Red Wing teams. I hated them, but I also respected them, like Sergei Fedorov, Steve Yzerman, guys like that.
God, they were so good.
They were fun to watch for sure. Always loved Al McInnes, of defenseman for the Blues.
The reason I didn't list any of the Blues back in those days is they just never could win the Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of kept. By the way, Rob, list some of your Boilermakers. We might know them.
Yeah, we might. Know some
go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, that was hot. I mean, that's hockey right now for me. There's a lot of guys I really like to watch, but those are the ones that really stand out as of right now. I think I like to watch Bravosky play when he's on his game. He's awesome to watch as well. So really like all of them. Basketball, I think for me, it's just far and away Michael Jordan. There's just nobody that's come close. And I like to watch Kobe some, but I just never got into a player like Jordan. That's the only sport where I go, okay, basketball, let's think of some ones. It's Michael Jordan. That's it.
I'm sitting there, I was thinking about Kobe.
Yeah.
And I never did like Kobe. I think it's because, and this is so stupid, I looked at him as a threat to Jordan's greatness.
Yeah.
Because when you're really realistic, Kobe was about as close to Jordan as there's ever been.
Yeah.
He made big shots too.
Yep.
It was just something I didn't want anybody to replace Jordan. And I think I held that against Kobe.
Yeah. I that's fair. Because I think, like you said, they were pretty darn close. Kobe was the same type of players too. And just lethal guys. They'll just kill you.
Fearless.
Yep. Yeah. Football, I definitely, it's a lot of OU guys. Baker Mayfield certainly is number one for me. The 1 year of Adrian Peterson, his freshman year,
you'd list him.
That was must-watch TV. Yeah. That was a year unlike any other. It reminded me a lot of the Johnny football year, except Peterson obviously kept going. But Peterson's time at Oklahoma was marred by injuries. But that first year was incredible.
Yep.
A true freshman, he comes in there and he just dominates college football. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah.
In that same year, Reggie Bush was incredible to watch. I hate to admit it, but Reggie Bush USC was pretty unbelievable to watch him play. And I bet you'll never guess who I'm going to talk about now. But he was one of my favorite players to watch.
Who's that?
Darren McFadden at Arkansas.
Oh, at Arkansas?
He was incredible. The year they put him at quarterback some, and he was throwing touchdowns. He was returning kicks for touchdowns. Of course, he's running all over the field. Go back and watch that year. I believe it was 2004, I want to say. I could be wrong on the year. Or 2003 or 4 or 5. Darren McFadden was a monster that year. I loved to watch him. It was incredible. And they had Felix Jones, who was very good, but McFadden, he was a stud for sure. Pro football, Joe Montana is my all-time favorite.
Yep.
I loved watching Joe Montana.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Those Niner teams were really good.
Yep. And he
when
he got traded to the Chiefs. Yep. It was cool.
Yep. I thought about him a lot.
And they had Peyton Hillis too, Arkansas did.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that was a fun. Now, Arkansas fans would go, well, they still couldn't win, and I know, but still, they were fun. When they were fun to watch. They had no quarterback. They were so fun to watch, though. Those guys were so good. I remember the day, and I think it went into maybe 3 overtimes. They went to LSU and won that game. McFadden and Jones ran all over the field on them. It was incredible that day when Arkansas beat them. I'll never forget that. And that would have been, I think that was like 06 or 07. It was 07, I think, actually. I was too early. I think it was 07 when they were around. So, yeah, it was very cool. Very cool to see him do that. And he was a beast. And I don't know why he didn't work out in the NFL. Maybe because he got drafted by the Raiders. I'm not sure, but it didn't work out. But anyway, I always liked watching him. NFL. I'm with you. Those Denver Bronco teams that had Elway and Rod Smith and those guys.
Smith is from Missouri Southern, where you and I went to school.
Yeah,
he was one of my all-time favorites just because of that.
Yep, had TD Terrell Davis. Remember him, the running back? I loved those teams.
They were fun to watch.
Yep, they were fun. I really enjoyed them. I always hated Brett Favre. I'm trying to think of some of those other ones. Never really cared for Marino all that much. I didn't really like
You didn't like Manning either.
Not really.
I like to watch him. So
yeah,
he made my list.
Yeah. Barry Sanders definitely would. When him and Emmitt Smith, I like both of them.
You know, I never got into Barry that much because they never won.
Yeah. No,
I just never. In college, oh my God, he was good.
Derrick Henry is fun to watch right now. I would agree with that.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
What sport did I leave off? Baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, Albert Pujols, when he was with the Cardinals, I always watched when he was up to bat.
Yep.
And Ohtani. I watch Ohtani when he
you love it.
Yeah.
I got a couple old time baseball players.
Okay.
Greg Maddux.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Greg Maddux for sure. Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. Loved them both.
Yeah. I loved them both. We were big time Braves fans.
Yep.
And Maddux was just like Gibson.
Yeah.
Games lasted an hour and a half, or not an hour and a half, 2 hours. He just got the ball and threw it too.
Yep.
Best pitcher I ever saw.
Yep.
Couldn't throw hard enough to break a pane of glass.
He was awesome. Yeah.
He was so efficient.
Yep.
He was so much fun to watch. Kind of a strange dude too. That made him equally fun.
He was very weird.
He had Glavine. Glavine was a professional. I got to see that, Rob.
Yeah, what's that on? Tell us what that's on, Rob, because I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it either.
I don't have much to do tonight. I'm going to have to look that up.
So, just real quick before you go on,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's harder to name pitchers now because they just quit pitching. Like, for example, the kid for the Brewers, Millerowski, or I can't think of his name now.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Okay, he pitched against Skeens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And John and I are texting back and forth like, oh, yeah, here we go, And Skeens pitched 4 innings and the other kid pitched 5. Like,
that's ridiculous.
It's like, I don't know.
Why do you even have them if you're not going to pitch them?
Yeah.
I mean, why did Skeens pitch 4 innings?
He gave up some runs, so they just took him out.
They just took him out, saved him.
Let him pitch. I think he threw 70 pitches or something. I
don't know what's going on. I don't understand it, but it's raining it.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. Ellie De La Cruz definitely is fun to watch, Dennis. I would definitely say that. Here's the deal with Ellie De La Cruz. You never know what he's going to do. Like, he may get a single and steal 3 bases, including home, or he may forget how many outs there are and not run hard or forget the score. It's something every night with this guy, but he is electric for sure.
I don't know if there's any old timers on here, but George Brett, you don't remember him with the Royals.
I've seen the highlights, but
George Brett, I was such a fan of his. He made a real run at hitting 400. It was close. So I got to where when Brett was batting, I was following it. And I even went to some Royals games, and I'm not a Royals fan at all.
Yeah.
Now the Cardinals were down during
Right.
that time. He was fun to watch. He was a great, great player.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. A guy that none of you guys ever got to. I was like, I don't know, 10 years, 12 years old when he was in his prime. Now the NBA wasn't on much.
Yeah.
But I never missed a game Wilt Chamberlain played.
Yeah, I figured you would say that. Yeah.
He was so much fun to watch.
Right. Yeah.
And nobody is ever going to average 50 points a game. No way in hell.
Right.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
50 points a game.
Yeah. It's
How
insane.
hard is to score 50 points in 2 games?
It's insane. When you look at his numbers, it's totally insane what he did.
I think he one season he averaged 30 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, he never came out of the game.
Right.
And if he could have made a free throw, he might have averaged 60 points a game. He was a terrible free throw shooter.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it's great when you see his highlights and his stats. It's like, how is this guy not like the greatest to ever play and everything? You know what I mean?
He was a little bit of a sketchy character.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had the knock on him. He couldn't win the big game,
Right?
Because the teams he was on weren't any good. That's one of the reasons he averaged 50.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that could score. Nobody else could.
Yep.
Isn't it interesting? And I like the guy. LeBron didn't make either one of our lists.
I've never enjoyed watching him play.
I can't really say I have either.
And I
think he's a tremendous player.
Me too. I just don't.
If
we're talking about, hey, who have you enjoyed to watch? He's not on the list.
Isn't that odd?
I
mean, I don't dislike him, and a lot of people don't like him, but I don't.
I don't dislike him. I don't dislike him. No.
No, I've always thought he was a tremendous player.
If he is or was on TV, I didn't care really. You know, I never watched him.
I neither.
I mean, I watched him, but I didn't like go out of my way.
No, if he was on, the only game was on, I didn't have anything to do. I didn't watch it.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. Maybe it was his style.
Yeah, Dennis says his style is so boring.
He's not what you call a fantastic shooter. I mean, he's a good shooter, obviously.
Yeah.
He drives, he doesn't, he does some spectacular stuff, but it's dunks. A lot of people can make spectacular dunks. I don't know. There was just something I just never did. Like you said, I never did care to watch him that much.
No.
So trying to think if there was any college players that didn't really make it big in the pros, but I can't think of anybody that comes to mind. Most of them became really good pros.
Yeah, I can't really either. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I think we've got it. Glenn, yeah, the big dog, Glenn Robinson for like a year was fun to watch. I feel like, or 2 maybe. Yeah, he was like the next big thing. Chris Webber, yeah, that's a good one.
That's another one though. I don't know. There was something about him that wasn't likable.
No, I didn't like Chris Webber at all.
I don't know. I never saw him ever. I don't know. Yeah, there's just something. I didn't like Michigan. I didn't like that bunch.
No,
I didn't care for them.
I didn't like Jalen Rose. I still don't like Jalen Rose. So,
no, yeah. Not a big fan. I just didn't care for that. I don't know. Yeah. But I don't remember Weber really doing it. Was he called that stupid timeout that cost
He did, but I mean, no, he didn't. He was never like a jerk or anything.
No, I don't remember him. I just didn't. I think he was on Michigan. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Probably right. Yeah. Oh, Magic Johnson. I forgot about him.
Yeah. See, I'm too young.
He was fun to watch.
Barely remember him. Yeah. Christian Laettner was a fun one for college. Yeah.
Now, Rob, that's a guy that a lot of people didn't like.
No, yeah.
But he was a really good player. I don't think
they college player that didn't
Duke. Yeah. Probably is what it was.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of some girls, some women.
Well, I think Caitlin Clark would be a lot of people would say Caitlin Clark.
Well, when she made that run at Iowa,
Yeah.
I did watch and when they got in the tournament, I watched most of those games.
Yeah.
I did enjoy watching her.
I
There's
just don't care
something
for it.
about a female draining those threes.
Mhm.
That's just, it's magical. I don't know what it is. It's like, you sit there and go, wow, how do they
Yeah.
make those things? It's just, and they're probably better. Some of them are better shooters than the guys are.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they have to be. They have to be. They can't, I mean, they can go. So a lot of them go to the hole, but it's not. It's harder.
Raise up there and dunk it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm meaning. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Serena in tennis, Rob says.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you're into tennis, I would have to think that's.
Oh, I just thought of another one.
Okay.
Way before your time.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That was must-see TV.
Yeah. Well, then Mike Tyson as well. Stick with boxing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Don't you think Tyson? A lot of that was because of the video game.
Yeah, and just
was that not a fun video game?
Mike Tyson Punch-Out is one of the best video games ever. Yes, no question.
That was so cool.
No question about it.
The guys he had to beat were so cool.
They were the best.
I can't remember any of their names. I can see them though.
Oh yeah, Bald Bull. That was my favorite.
Bull. Yeah, that's the one I can see the most.
Soda Popinski was one of them.
Who was the last one you had to beat?
We had to beat him. The last one.
Bald Bull.
The second to last one was some tornado guy. Oh boy, I can see him. He did like that twist and punch. I can't think of it.
It was lethal.
Yeah, one punch and it'd knock you out. Let's see. I'm trying to find him here. King Hippo was one of them. That's not who this
game.
He was good.
Was so much fun.
Glass Joe. I can't think. It's this guy. I've got pictures of him here, but here's the names. Hold on. The last guy was Macho Man. I never would have guessed that.
No, me neither. I don't remember him.
So it was Glass Joe, Von Kaiser. Von Kaiser.
Von Kaiser
would disappear. You'll remember this one. Piston Honda.
Oh yeah, Piston.
Don Flamingo.
Oh yeah.
King Hippo, Great Tiger, Bald Bull, Soda Popinski, Mr. Sandman. I forgot about him. He was tough. One punch, he'd go out. And then the Macho Man, and then Mike Tyson was the last one.
Oh man.
There you go.
What a game that was.
But Macho Man, best wrestling character. Could have been.
Was that a Nintendo?
Yes, that was Nintendo. Yeah.
I wonder if so you would have to have the old Nintendo game.
There's probably a knockoff version somewhere, but you'd
gonna say if you really wanted to have some fun, you could find something close to that that could be used on the system you have now, but I don't know if you could.
Yeah.
Go to vintage stock, those old vintage stock stores. They got every freaking video game there is.
You could probably find it in some of those stores. Yeah.
I bet you could, but you got to have a console or whatever they call it to play it on.
You're not into wrestling, but what was the character that you liked best in wrestling?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh man,
because you know them.
I know the old ones.
Yeah.
I would have to say the Undertaker was my favorite.
Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, pretty good one.
I did like him. He was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Ultimate Warrior was pretty cool.
Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker, definitely two good ones. Yeah.
Stone
Cold, definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never was a Rock fan. The Rock. I mean, he was cool, but I never did. I thought he was kind of goofy.
Yeah.
He's a better actor now, that part. I'm kind of like, I mean, he's a good guy, but The Undertaker was he was just scary.
Yeah. Yeah. He was cool. The Undertaker, the legendary character. I don't think there's a better character ever in wrestling.
Have you got one that I didn't mention?
Well, I think you mentioned the good ones. I mean, Sting is obviously a massive.
I don't remember him much. I don't.
Yeah.
He wasn't, Macho Man wasn't either. He's kind of funny.
Macho Man was good. Yeah. But yeah, Sting was got to be up there. Hulk Hogan, whether you love him or hate him, that is
well,
iconic.
I mean, he's like we talked about D Wayne. This guy changed the whole thing.
Yeah, he revolutionized it. So he's got to be in the conversation. Yeah.
Oh yes.
But no, yeah, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, Hogan.
Stone Cold was pretty good.
Who?
Stone Cold was
great. Yeah. Sting was great. Yeah, those are the best ones in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, that was I never thought about that. That's a hell of a that was a great run.
You were watching the night Stone Cold drove the beer truck into the arena. Yeah, that was most people like that is such an iconic moment when that happened. Yeah, that night.
That's when it was at its best.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, that's even a guy like me could watch some of that.
Yeah.
That was his theater. I mean, that was his comedy. Some of it.
Was Vince McMahon at his best for sure when he created all that stuff.
Went nuts. Yeah, I mean that was.
Yeah, I remember. Last thing here, we're going off course now. That's all right.
It's all right.
I remember I was little when the Undertaker. Not that I don't know how little. Pretty small actually. Now that I think about it, when the Undertaker debuted. So he was in. I forget what the event was, but all the lights went out and they did that whole thing and they showed him. I was terrified of the Undertaker. Yeah,
that's scary acting.
And I'm sure my uncle Kevin can. We talked about it. The time that the Undertaker put Ultimate Warrior in a casket, they tricked him. They tricked him to get in the casket. Paul Bear, who was the greatest manager maybe ever, Paul Bear, tricked Ultimate Warrior, and they put him in the casket and they closed it.
Yeah,
and we were watching that day with. He's dead. He's dead. You know what I mean? Because the Undertaker it felt that real with him. You know. And like it took 10 minutes to get him out of there, and we were like, they've killed him. The Ultimate Warrior's dead. They're drilling holes, and I'll never forget that in that casket. Go find that somewhere. It's terrifying. So, oh man. But yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of wrestling, did you hear? I was listening to Jim Cornette. I listened to that too today, Dennis, and Vince McMahon's trying to buy a bare knuckle boxing. I heard that, yeah, but they said they didn't want to do business with Vince.
So, no, surely not.
Yeah, poor Vince.
Poor Vince.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
All right, well, I think that's about all we got. I think. I think we've done it.
We're grasping at straws, kind of trying to come up with some shows here in the bad part of the year.
Yeah, I know. I got to be on VSiN here in a minute, and I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't want to talk about baseball, but I guess that's what we're going to do. So
what else is there?
Huh? Yeah, no, nothing. I mean, I can't even think of anything.
No, yeah. It's the dead time.
Yep, it is. So
2 more months.
Yes. Well, we can start previewing football here in another month, maybe.
Yeah, 1st of August. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here, guys. Thanks everybody for listening today. It's been a fun show, at least the second half of it, and we'll see what happens with the first half. So,
no doubt.
Keep you informed there. Blinkers off coming up. Magic Mike coming up. Let's see. Blinkers off. I don't know when either one of them is going to be actually. So we'll see.
Not today, though.
No, not today. Not today. Thursday, I believe. So, gonna be fun. To see all that. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Everybody have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week. And, boy, it's 4th of July next week, isn't it?
Wow. It is. It's on Friday.
So that's Friday. So, no, we can do a regular show on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Yeah. Okay, We're good. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Everybody have a good week.
This is due to Bet Sports.